Guess I won't need that. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, but we'll get right to it so that we can be creative together, right? See what we can put together. I've got some ideas and things we can do. Let's get everyone connected here. How did you all like part 14? I thought that came out okay. I might cut off a little bit of the beginning, but that's just the pre-show part. So, but I thought even that was a good discussion. So I hope you enjoyed it, and it helped you understand the account in John 1, 3, 4, and all the way through 8 at least a little bit better. All right. So once I get indication, let's just get the chat going here. And let's see. I believe we have everything set correct. So what I'm going to do is a couple of things. I'm going to bring up a site that we can use, and we're going to come up with some ideas and put them down and try to come up with, if not a final product this evening, it's evening where I am, then we'll at least have some good working templates and models. And before I bring that up, hello Betsy, good to see you. Before I bring up the site we're going to use to kind of begin the process of making tracts, brochures. You know, it's not going to be, at least for me, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you're representing in terms of what we do. Christian Witnesses of Jah, the three things. But, you know, we're going to try to make tracts, leaflets, brochures, something, whatever is going to be practical where you are, for what you do and for what you want to achieve. Maybe you won't need anything like this, but sometimes it's good to leave, you know, like a little card or flyer, something, even if it's not meant to like help develop an interest in someone directly. Remember, we're seed planters, right? At least in a Christian sense. We're supposed to be planting and watering. God makes it grow, but we're not supposed to have the mindset of doing it all, you know, having to be there for it all and getting everything from start to finish done, or we're a failure. You know, that's not true. We succeed when we do what we're supposed to do. Plant seeds, right? Water, give Jah the opportunity to help a person grow and become better. Hello, Kevin. So that's what we're going to do this evening. You know, we do these videos. I'm working on a translation. I'm working faster on Proverbs, or at least when I say faster, more dedicated, devoting more time. So it's coming together. I'm doing what I can, but I think all texts can still be used, like we try to here on this channel, because for the most part, they're reliable. They're the same. It's just certain doctrinal issues, you know, create problems. Hello, George. Good evening. Good to have you all. We're started already. It's basically just kind of like an open session, only we're really going to focus on tracts, you know, brochures, but mainly it can be anything. I'm going to pull up a couple templates, right, from a threefold like I've had done before, and just like a single little card that on each side has something simple that I've also done. I'll bring up in a moment. And the good thing about our use of you know, tracts or things with designs, right? Really, we can do several things. We can create, like, again, a couple columns that give information, like I talked about in the description to this video, right? That maybe point out all the different pieces of evidence before Jesus was born that we've been developing on our videos, but in written form, so that people can see, oh, okay, this isn't just totally this story from this point forward. It actually goes back further and has these connections if they don't already see that. Or something we can leave with someone who has a question, right? Maybe it's easier for us to leave a small tract or brochure with concise but, citable and verifiable information, sources, links in it, maybe even pictures of certain things, right? Certain pieces of archaeology that would fit what we're going to be discussing in the brochure or tract or whatever we're leaving. But that would get them interested, right? Plant that seed. Make them think more about things that you and I know are real history, that they're reliable, but that people don't really hear about today. I was thinking earlier today, you know what it's like sometimes? With all the movies and pop music and stuff and even other types of music, but even rap is not the same as it used to be in ways that the culture has just become more degraded overall. Maybe there are exceptions in places, but in some cases that I'm thinking of, most cases, seems like it's become, especially the mediums, right, the voices of control or influence. Movies, news, radio, TV, music. These things, while I like them too, and we watch them, but we all know they have a powerful influence on the mind and can especially embed images and things that people see all the time. So I was thinking it's kind of like in a reverse sense. You know how in the Tower of Babel account, where Yahweh went down with other sons of God, or with sons of God, if it was Yahweh, but it could have been the Son of God or just sons of God representing Yahweh. Either way, he went down. And they did what, right? They started speaking to the people, the different languages or dialects that developed into languages, and they could no longer at some point talk to each other, right? They had confused the people by being among them in ways where, after speaking to them the way they knew how to communicate and would effectively influence the people and the way they talked, it eventually separated them. I was thinking it's kind of like that today, or it seems like it's getting that way, where people, even though it's not necessarily, it's like these mediums, these voices of control and influence, like I was talking about. The fake news and different stuff, right? Different governmental entities that want control, and so they just limit the narrative to what they want you to hear, leave out facts, information. Religions do that too. People do that too. So that's what I'm talking about. But it seems like what it's doing is it's making it harder for people to communicate or have a shared awareness. Kind of like they had that shared language back in at the Tower of Babel, before Yahweh confused them. It's kind of like we've had this, at least a shared appreciation for religion or spiritual things, even if we're not really involved. That's kind of gone away. There's no real connection through a shared acceptance, even in an... the closest you get are things like holidays sometimes, where people, like around Christmas, for example, and other times, have like Thanksgiving. People have a little bit better spirit, it seems, but they've even turned that off, or at least it's been denied in ways where they don't even want you meeting together in larger groups. And so that's what I mean. It's like there's been this interference with our ability to communicate effectively through our shared appreciation on some level of the value of spiritual interests and religion, historical documents, accounts that are involved with it. It's unfortunate, right? So if we do these videos, I do different things. I'm sure you do different things. We're all doing what we can to give God praise and promote Jesus as the Messiah, right? Without being overbearing or making people feel uncomfortable, right? That's not the objective. The objective is to get people to think about what's really going on in life. What happened before we were alive that we can credibly verify in ways that we accept as real history. And what does that teach us about where we are now and what's likely to occur going forward? So people are still concerned about life. In fact, I think those same controlling voices or influences whether it's news, different religions, different political groups, right? The people who want to oppress us or at least control us in ways to where they limit what we are able to do, share an appreciation for things that involve, values different from what they're promoting, what they believe in, what they do. And so whether it's the actual demons and Satan, right, like being down here on the earth, Revelation 12, kind of like the way Yahweh and the angels went down to Babylon, Tower of Babel, and among them and confuse them, right, as they're coming down to the earth, resulted in some kind of similar division among humans because they've been here and they've been doing these things in ways we can't really see, just like they couldn't see it was Yahweh. They know what they're doing. And they know real history, right? See, they've seen it all. We have reasons to believe things, right? Evidence from the past, but we've only lived and seen so much. They've seen it all. So they have advantages in ways where they really know what happened. But they can tell us things that aren't true because we weren't there the way they were. And they know that. They know they have that advantage, so they can use that awareness of what is really true and their awareness that we don't know the same way they do to confuse us. Make us stop thinking about why we're even here, right? Do you think most people know that? What are we even here for? Well, if I was asked why are we here, I would say to praise God. Praise the one who made us. Right? He gave us these things in ways that obviously benefit them because we're reflection of them. I say them because they made us in their image, according to these texts. And so they put us in a place where we do things that represent what they do in other ways, or at least they can benefit from or use. And yet we also benefit, right? We have taste, sight. We feel and experience things that are pleasurable, and yet still bring forth the yield of the earth in ways that, like I said, can be beneficial to both us and those who made us. So we give praise, right? We give thanks. That's the kind of the whole idea. We can interrelate. We can have families. We can have friends, children. We can get along with other peoples, other places, travel, do all these things. But if we don't give Jah praise, there's something missing, right? And I think that's kind of what's being displaced today in ways that are accelerating, it seems. And so that's why we're promoting the Messiah, right? Because we've gotten away from the original purpose in that way, so that we need Jesus to have come and saved us. So we know people kind of know that message. It's not easy to talk about because they don't always accept it, and they think it's kind of weird if they don't really know the history. But we can again present it. So let's get to it and talk about a few things we can do. I'm going to move you guys over here a little bit because I'm going to be bringing up a site we're going to use. And let's see. All right. I think we'll go to this cam. I might do this at times, but I guess for right now, I'm not on the right. Can I move me? Let me see. I don't know if that. Let me go back to the base for a moment. And I brought up, I just wanted to see if that change I made, I wanted to move that little mini screen over to the other side. So I think I was able to do that. But I had I had the wrong monitor on, so let me bring up the right one. Now I think we're good. Okay, we'll start with this. And then, I can move myself around if I need to. Yeah, I know, George, it used to be a lot better. The music, almost everything, right? Sports, everything has really been... It's like something affected everything in a similar way, right? Like degraded everything. And made it less enjoyable, almost in every way in society. I don't want to read into it too much, right? I don't know how much we can say people or spirits even intentionally did the kind of thing I was talking about, right? Like did that kind of shared confusion. But it doesn't say, at least in Revelation 12, that we should be careful, right? The devils come down having great anger. And if they've been thrown down to the earth, well, doesn't it say, right, that God and Jah went down and in the same way, right? So there's a similarity in the going down. Now, Jah, of course, and the angels weren't thrown down. But that's what I'm talking about. So the coming down part, the being down on the earth part. So if it's obvious still that Satan is able to, and the demons that came with him, do stuff, right? He goes after the woman, goes after their seed. So he's quite capable, at least it seems, to do similar things that the angels did, but in a bad way. And it seems like that could be the case. Or just humans are collectively trying to be more oppressive in ways that we see as sort of potentially representative, right, of these spirit things. Okay, so let's get back to it. All right, so I'm in a template at canva.com. I have an account there that I use. And so what we're going to do is attempt a few things. Now, I guess I should try to, let me go to some uploads here. Right, so there's a few things I've got on the side here below my picture that I've uploaded for different things. Right here, some of the uploads I did for the Watchtower, homosexuals, and apostates thumbnail. There's a little logo of one of my companies. And then different images I'm using for different backgrounds, for different projects related to some of my business work. All right, so one of the questions we should try to answer first, and I can see you in the chat, so please interact, because I'm going to be asking you questions in ways where we need to decide. And if not, if you don't put anything down, I'll just kind of put down some examples. But so what do we want to really try to present to people? In light of what I was saying earlier, right? We know we have videos, we know we have books, we have Bibles, right? So we can talk to people, and that's really what we should do, is talk to them, connect with them in ways that are, not going to make them feel like we're burdening them or interfering with their lives, but we already know them, or we're in a situation where we're helping them with their lives, or they want to talk to us, or they have questions for us, or we can see there's things they don't know that we can help them understand better. Or maybe we can't, right? Maybe we can't always talk to someone at work or at school or anywhere. Maybe we're at the store or at the mall or wherever. And we see people, but we can't really talk to them. Right? At the gas station, people are busy. We're doing stuff, right? Well, what if we had just a thing we could leave real quick? We see tracts all the time. We know the Watchtower is very effective with that. Other groups do it too. And I've done certain things at times, like right here. Let me bring this over. So I'll bring you up now, my little face cam. So this is an example of a brochure that I've done, or that I did at one time. There we go. I'll leave it at that point, since we don't necessarily need to read all the columns right now. But so this is one I did initially, I think, back in 2008, about 12 years ago. A couple of years after I started, using Christian Witnesses of Jah, I started getting back into, religious studies and work again. After being away from the society for 3 to 4 years, I finally found my way back to just trying to do my best, to promote Jah. Like I said, give God praise for all these things that we believe He gave to us and that He benefits from in ways that we're able to express our thanks to Him by being a part of it. So, at around 2008, and I started doing more things, writing more things. Of course, then I went through some tough times for several years, and eventually got through it. But that's when I did a lot of translating work, so a lot happened there too. Wrote several articles, even during those tough times. We have to keep going, right? So around 2008, I got this brochure here done. This is like the inside part of a trifold least part of it. You're only seeing part because it was. I'll make it a little bit smaller just for a second, or maybe I can make it. Well, for some reason it's cutting off part of the Bible part. I can bring it up to show you, but you can see on the far right that basically that's a column. It's kind of cut off. But it has, like I was talking about earlier, right? References and information, even below that purple line you see on each page. It's easier to see on the middle one, the black one. These are kind of light, especially with the Canva background. See if I can make it a little bigger, just so we can see the middle one, right? So right here you can see I put down even these notes. I put down a note. I tried to get it in there, right? I wanted to use as much of the page, but put it all on one page, one column. We could make a tract out of just each of these columns. We're not going to do that necessarily because I think we can do a better job, but I'm just explaining that based on what I initially had thought of doing and did, right? This is on my topical index, I believe. Or was at one point. I think at some point I took it off because I changed addresses and stuff and just became too difficult to manage. But in any case, I think it's still on there. And so, because I did edit it at one point, the address, so that I could, if people wanted to contact me, right? Now, I don't recommend using your address or personal information on your tracts or whatever you leave for people. Unless it's a business card, right? It's kind of what you have to do. Unless you really feel comfortable. It's up to you, right? I don't recommend it. I certainly don't think it's in general a good practice. So what can you do? Well, again, we're really just looking to plant seeds, help plant and water. Yes, we want to be there when people grow. But if you're able to leave people something that we're going to develop further in a moment, but like this, right, where there's like a column, or at least one section that deals with Jesus, right, and like I was talking about, pre-Christian evidence, or maybe evidence from non-Christian or non-Jewish sources that write about the existence of Jesus, right, their historicity of Jesus. Just something that's concise but informative and that can catch people's attention and isn't too difficult to read or carry around or leave. Right, so I did that with Jah. I talked about the name because I was using now Christian Witnesses of Jah. I knew, okay, well, people they've heard Jah, they kind of know Jah, hallelujah, but I really need to explain, right? They really need to know that and understand it clearly. If we're going to deal with the divine name and have people believe it in ways where we're not going to argue about it, right? So then I put down with Jesus of Nazareth. And like we were talking about, I put down a bunch of stuff, a lot of biblical information, Dead Sea Scroll, pre-Christian evidence information, and non-biblical information that relates to the historicity of Jesus. And then with the Bible, I highlighted different pieces of archaeology that reference things that are in the Bible and that show that what it talks about is reliable. It's not legend. It's not history. That's never been shown to be the case, and everything that has been found, to me, shows the opposite. So this was the first part. Let's add a page here. Right, so that's kind of one way I went about it that's still available, but, it's not what I would use right now because, again, we're going to develop it better. And like you're going to see right here, here's the other side to that same brochure. See if I can get it. Oh, it's a little bit big. Well, we'll leave it there for right now. So this was the cover right here. That was the cover. Beliefs based on the best available reasons. I still do have a lot of books. That's where I keep and use mainly, in addition to my topical index and some articles. Most of the stuff that I really put together and still distribute that relates directly or in some way pretty clearly to the Watchtower Society or related issues, Jehovah's Witnesses, things I was doing more in that way at that time, and that are still available and that I use and that people use, right? So that around 2008, I didn't have a lot of the things I have right now. Now the Christian Witnesses of Jah, I think that link is still good at the bottom, but it's CWJah.org now, at least the primary link. Right, so this is a little bit outdated, but I still think it has a, I thought it came out all right, and for a cover, right? And then I wanted to give a little utility, right? Something that if we left this brochure with people, right, it has all that information. It has all this stuff. I don't know, it's not moving the same way, but it has all this on the inside, and then they can make some notes or reminders, all right? Or they can write down, like if they actually talk to you and you had a meaningful conversation, or maybe you know them a little bit, and so it's a little more comfortable for you to leave your information. That's up to you, right? We don't recommend that. But I felt, well, let's make a little field here where people can put information, right? Something useful. And then on the left, this was again an early attempt to show people who we are, what we're going to try to do, right? How we can gather even as a small group, right? Just like that. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Doesn't that look like a nice group? It's only 6 people. But we only need 2 or 3 people. We're only responsible for getting another person or another 2 or 3 people, or planting that many seeds and watering and letting Jah be the one who determines how many people. But there are ways that we can go about showing God honor and praise, helping people while we're already working with or around them, right? Again, I don't recommend being intrusive or using these tracts or things we're going to do in ways that would be seen as you kind of invading people's space, right? You have to look for the right time and for people to be receptive to what you're going to share or say, or just leave it somewhere where it's not littering or something, right? We don't want to make people think less of us. So at the bottom, and then a little box, this is where I replaced the address part after things started changing for me, and I put, right, there's the updated link. I think that other link still works, but it's a longer title, of course, the whole Christian Witnesses of Jah. So then I replaced it here with the Facebook page, the new website. I'm going to redo the CWJah website page pretty soon. I had to do a couple professional websites of my own. The Elihu Books website is still fine for now. I'm going to redo that one too. But the first one I'm going to redo, the next one I should say, right? The first one of the Elihu Books CWJah site is going to be the CWJah site. And it won't take me long. I hope, Jah willing, another month or so, and I'll have that totally done. All those links that aren't working right now, they'll be working, and there'll be more. I'm going to change pretty much everything. I'll put the videos on there. I'm going to start hosting videos on there. So it'll become a much more interactive and involved site soon. All right, but now, so let's look. So these are the ideas I had initially. Right, this is what I tried to do back in 2008, and then I updated it like a couple years ago when I still was trying to keep things out there that would help people, but that I couldn't change it very much because I was still trying to get where I am right now, back to normalcy in some way. And we can't always have that, right? We have to keep going, and then we get to a point where we can do more. So in any case, right? So these are some of my ideas that are still usable, I think. We can probably benefit on some level. But, and then let's see. So we got these things, right? But setting, these couple examples aside, let's go to another example. Let me bring myself back here while I bring it up. It's one I hadn't uploaded. that. Oh yeah, I remember. I'll show you. There it is. First, let me go ahead and cut that, right? You'll see what I mean in just one second. I'm going to cut this so I have it to use in Canva. But let me bring that down. Bring Canva back up so I can bring you guys back in. There we go. And then this is what I just was looking at right here. So this is also on my Elihu Books topical index. I got this from Christian Tracts. It's under C. It's Christian Tracts. It's in a couple places probably. But this was another attempt. Something I did more recently. Like 2017, I want to say. Or it looks like maybe 2018. Copyright down here is from 20... Oh, that's for the Great Message. That's when I started doing my translating work in 2011. So that's one of the things I wanted to highlight as well. One of the benefits for what we're doing, in addition to, of course, right, we have a message. We have something we want to promote, something we want to praise, something we want to do to help people, at least to see things that might benefit them. And praise God as well. But we have my translation, right? And I'm just saying, of course I put a lot of time into it. I'm working on it. I stand by it, right? I'm here. I will defend it. So I'm not just someone who's throwing it out there. I've done work that I believe is credible. And if people don't like it, so be it. But we can use it, right? Say we don't have copyright issues. Not if we're using it in the way that's correct and that we're talking about right now, that we're doing together. Right? We can use my translations. We're going to do in a moment. I'm going to import some text from Proverbs I think would be good, or maybe some sayings from Jesus. But here, what I did was, I was going to do a whole series like this. I was going to do a historian, and then a teacher, one about Jesus, right? And then another one I was going to do a tax collector, but to show the conversion of one of Jesus' disciples that led to text from his account that I would cite, right? So, or another figure in the Bible that has something about him or her, we can just put a statement about like that, whatever it is about that person. Like with Judas Iscariot, right? A traitor. But we wouldn't necessarily do a tract about him, right? Unless it was to make a point, right? Maybe there's something we would use to get someone's attention using a traitor. Right? You see the words a traitor, ... You're like, what? Right? Of course, we don't want to excite people, get them, unnecessarily concerned. But, okay, so you look at something that says a traitor, and you turn it over, and you see some information about Judas you never saw before, never thought of before. You only know Judas as this betrayer, which he is. But maybe there's something more we can think of and add and use in a way so that people are more interested in the whole account. Same with Luke, right? So right here, what I was trying to do with this was focus on the fact that people, a historian, right? Luke. So he's writing a history about Jesus that he compiled from different sources. And so that's what I quoted, Luke chapter 1, 1 through 4 from my translation. I put the date, right, first century, so people are kind of simple information, but that gives them enough context so they understand what's going on. Luke, a historian, first century. What? Many people have attempted. So many people have tried to do this, right? So this is something in Luke many people haven't read, right? They're used to some things, sayings of Jesus, the narrative account of Jesus, the nativity account, I should say, the temptations by Satan. But they don't always think about Luke and the things that he related earlier at the start of his account about his efforts in coming up with the information that we read about. Right? And this, his reference to Theophilus, right? He's doing this for someone, right? So this is an effort that he's putting together that other people are using him to compile. And so it's going to be, something he's being careful about. He's a physician and a historian, right? So I wanted to highlight the historical part because that's important when it comes to the Bible. And we can highlight other things as well. But that's what my thinking was at that time. And so, or someone like Thomas, right? A doubter. And so if we can pick a description that fits the person or thing we want to talk about, then that would be similar to what I'm trying to achieve here. Excuse me. So we could still use this. I mean, everything in it is still up to date, except for the extent of the copyright, right? Just 2020. But that's an easy fix. Something I can change and then put something different online. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind, right? We can make different things. We can highlight different images. We can go to different types of templates. So let's see. Let's go to these templates and take a look. All right, so we can bring up something that Canva provides that'll give us, excuse me. These are all trifolds again. Kind of like what I was talking about and showing with my earlier attempts up here. So right now I'm in trifold mode, but we can go to just a single page presentation. Yes. Oh, Betsy, please do. So that's what I really want. All right. So let's, excuse me. Let's just try to use what they're giving us here. How can we make use of this the way it is, right? How can we change it in the way that would be good? All right. So Betsy is talking about a brochure or a tract that would be simple but eye-catching and get to the issue of suffering so many people are experiencing. Right now, there's a whole handful of really, delicious looking grapes right here, right? So maybe this reach us thing, let's put that over here. And, what do we got here? We're in a trifold mode, but let's just give it a shot for a moment. Could I leave this there? Okay. We'll just pretend that's one image. Let's try to just get a working idea out of the trifold template we're using, and then we'll switch to a different one once we see it more clearly. Right, so what kind of phrase could we use here that would be like Betsy's talking about, eye-catching? Some eye-catching title. Well, okay, so let's just pick a word, right? We don't have to have it exact out of the gate. We're here to brainstorm. I've got time. If I need to get something to eat or restroom, I'll be right back, right? But we're going to try to move this forward. We don't have to necessarily come up with a finished product tonight. I think we've already talked about some of our working models and things we've done to date that are stimulating our minds, right? We're starting to see things a little more clearly and how we can do it today. So when we're meeting together like this, we don't have to have everything right. That's kind of the point, right? I purposely didn't want to do this ahead of our meetings like this. Because if I go ahead and do it, then, well, why have the session, right? I mean, it's just, here's the tract, right? Tell me what you think. So I really kind of I knew I had the earlier examples that we talked about that I showed. I figured, okay, well, so we'll start with those. And then You know, I've used Canva for, like I said, some thumbnails and for some of my business stuff. So let's see. Let's just kind of brainstorm and put images in here and words. So when I say you don't have to have it all together and ready, like this, okay, what's an eye-catching title? Like Betsy's saying. Right here, what could we put that would fit these grapes being handed like this? Well, right away to my mind, I'm thinking this. I'm thinking, now, how this will fit, I'm not sure yet. I'm not really sure. But I'm looking at these grapes, right? And so I'm thinking, wow, that's like it. They got everything. There's something there that's complete. Everything you would need or want to eat. Those grapes just look really good, don't they? And then it says everything. So now, how can we modify that to fit what Betsy... So that's an eye-catching title. That's what Betsy wanted in her comments. Now she wants a short message based on the present situation involving people suffering. Right. So maybe everything won't ultimately work for that end. But for now, until we think of the next revision to that eye-catching one-word title, let's leave it. And so now a short message. Okay, so here's something that gives us an opportunity. What's a short message we could use, right? We're just starting out to brainstorm using what we got here from this example. We're going to go to other examples, but let's use each one a little bit. Let's try to get the most out of it, because even if we don't use it, we will get ideas. We will get a sense of what we can do, how we can present these things. Even if we don't use it, it will still give us that stimulation and point of comparison with other things we're going to look at. That will then, by comparison, make us more aware of the options we have. So what's a short message we could put below this title to highlight the present suffering people are having in certain parts of the world, and in large part, everywhere? Everything. Well, let me just put down what I'm thinking and we'll go from there. Does everyone see what I wrote there? Everything, right? We may need to make this bigger. Let's see if I can make this one. Some things may not be changeable in some of the templates. We may have to go outside of it. That's a little bit better, or at least bigger. I wrote, but not for everyone. Right? So you see now how I've tried to change the direction of the Tract's message. There's that eye-catching title, and you're looking at this handful of really delicious grapes, right? Fingers aren't the best, right? They could have used the finger model right here. Still, let's focus on the grapes. And then you get this everything. And so that catches your attention, right? You see the grapes, but not for everyone. Okay, now that turns it towards this message of what? Something's not right. There's everything available, but it's not available for everyone. Doesn't that kind of sound right? Now again, that does not have to be what we call it or the final product. But that's where we start. We have to get our ideas down and moving, right? We have to get them together, we have to be thinking as a group about what we're doing and seeing it develop and how it can work. And then even when we're not together doing this work, we're like, okay, those things we were doing, we were thinking about it, and then we'll see or think about other things. It'll It'll make it easier for us to do the work. Now, Betsy's highlighting, and I don't want to get too negative, right? I understand we need to be real and maybe not too positive, right? We don't want to be overly positive or overly negative. I think sometimes that's what some groups do it incorrectly. Maybe it's effective, right? I'm not really looking to just, well, I just want to plan and see help people. I want them to believe. I want to help people believe in Jah and in the Messiah and in the Golden Rule. I want them to use that. I want them to benefit from it. I want them to become better people and make the world a better place so that we can do more together in those ways. And so that's what I'm going to try to achieve. So I don't want to give people too negative of a view, right? They're probably, like Betsy's saying already, a little bit depressed with some things going on in life. So I don't want to I don't want to conceptually pile on, right? Because again, remember how I started out talking about the comparison between the way that Jah and his angels went down to the Tower of Babel and confused people's languages by being among them, and the way today people have been confused, so we don't really communicate effectively together about things the way we should. So I want to try to reach people in that way that helps them not be as affected by all the different images and thoughts. I mean, there's almost no way we can do these things without giving them some conceptual link to the information, right? But I think to the extent we can keep it, neutral or not as impacting, not making them think too negative is a good approach. However, your situation may be different, or there may be something that's just really important, right? It's like war. So war is hard not to depict in a negative way, right? There's almost no way we can really address, maybe in a comparison way with peace in some sense, but there might be times where images are going to, by necessity, be negative. Okay, so that's okay. That maybe that's the case. And we do have, like if we were going to do a COVID tract or something, we don't want to get too involved with regulations and issues, right? Government thinking we're spreading false information or talking about things we shouldn't be talking about. We kind of want to stay with what we know, who we are, right? We don't want to get too much into the issues that have plagued some, where it's not our place or expertise, or even if it is in some way as a group, right? We focus on three things. There are other things, right? It's not like that's our only interests. That's our main interests. Those are the things, Jah, Jesus, you and me, that if we if we finished all that is related to them and we still have more that we can spend doing other things, well, then so be it. And part of what we do related to those three things involves everything else related to them in terms of the documents that tell us the histories and teachings of people who followed them. But we don't let things outside of the three come between you and me, so that even if there's an issue like with respect to, say, speaking in tongues, right? Well, if you believe in speaking in tongues, then you should seek people who are going to speak in tongues with you, or at least can understand what you're saying. Because if people don't understand what you're saying, it doesn't matter what you're saying, right? So you should seek or be with people who can at least make the information explainable. I'm giving out just an example, right, of something in the Bible that people might say, okay, well, I want to do this thing. Okay, well, fine. Well, you either need to make sure we can all understand it, or you need to be with people who understand it, right? So, but we're not going to let whether a person chooses to speak in tongues or not, right? Different languages is what we're talking about, affect our working with that person, as long as they're not going to make it difficult for us to worship God, follow the Messiah, or treat each other the way we want to be treated. So if we don't want to speak in tongues, we don't think they can in ways that we can understand, they would respect that, right? That's how we would know, okay, they respect the golden rule. They also want to talk in tongues. They know I don't, so we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about God, Jesus, and the golden rule, okay? Or something else we agree on, right? So that's how you handle those things. We don't have to do everything together all the time, right? Doesn't the Bible teach that we're members of a body? We're not all the same thing. We're not all evangelizers. We're not all teachers. We're different things. Sometimes we're the same. Sometimes we do different things. But we're not the same. We're not even supposed to be, really, when you think of a body, right? The different parts. So maybe in terms of your art and what you'll use, right? We're going to use these things we create together. I'm going to put them on the site. I'll promote them. Right? We can use the CWJah.org link and things that will help people. But you can also make your own tracts, of course. Now, right, if you start linking it to the CWJah site and stuff and it doesn't contain accurate information, you can write or put the images you want. This isn't going to be a policing type thing. It's more just, look, are you misleading people? Are you writing about things you shouldn't be writing about, right? Shouldn't be using tracts to promote chronology or in time, predictions or beliefs, because we're told specifically not to do that. So unless you're going to do a tract that's about a thief coming in the night, that we would endorse, right? Because, of course, that's what the texts teach. You see? So let's stick with the text. What did the text teach, right? And people can only use my translation if you're using it in a way that reflects what is taught and shows how we're trying to help people in the ways we're talking about in this way together. So it's best that I can give people access to these documents while we're live and while we're offline, so that you can come in and create things and we can still work together, present them at the next session, show people the progress we've made, even have people online, maybe, have different people even visually, or just working on things while I'm talking or while we're together in some group way, right? We have the chat, but we can do different things that allow us to progress better together, right? So I think you kind of get the idea over here, right? We can put an email, right? We can put info@CWJah.org. I think I have to verify that email, but I'm just putting it here, and I will activate that email if it's one we choose to use and want to put on a brochure or a tract like this. So people can send us an email, right, without having to give your personal information, right? And if it's someone who specifically mentions you, I'll route it to you if I know you in some way where, hey, we're about getting people together who know each other, who want more information. Same down here, right? We can change this. We'll use CWJah stuff for now, right? There might be other things, Facebook page, the YouTube channel, CWJah tube. It just depends, right? What are we trying to talk about or get them to think about? Right, so we have a little logo here of the grapes, but we can put in other things. And we'll leave that for now, right, until we really get the logo we want to use. We can make that as well, right? And so, as far as that number, I don't think, again, I don't believe it's a good idea. We don't endorse as a group. What you do individually is up to you. We do not endorse including or using your personal information on anything. That's up to you. Even when we meet together in groups, like in our homes, I'm going to be doing a show about this soon, about meeting in homes and how we can be more effective congregating together, even in small groups. I'm going to keep it about the tract tonight. We should only have people in our homes. We kind of know already, right? I mean, that's not really where you want to invite people you just met. I don't think so. Right? Even doesn't the Bible tell us you need to have letters of recommendation? People that come to you and who claim to believe, they need to at least in some ways tell you where they got their faith from, how they came to believe, why they're talking to you. Is it because of you? Okay, well then it's up to you to make sure you know that person before you get too close to them, even if they're responsive to our faith. So until you really are comfortable in ways where you can say, I can reliably allow this person to get closer to me in my home, what have you. Right? And that takes time. That's not simple to do. A lot of us who've known each other a long time, right, we would fit that. We would qualify because we've seen how each other acts. We've seen the dedication we've shown over time that motivates people to worship Jah and to follow Jesus and practice the golden rule. So I would take our address, the address in there in the field that we're using outright. Keep it simple. Now, how much information does a person need when they just got something? They need the most important, a little bit more to follow up on, and that's it. Right? So here's another area or field where, we put this, but not for everyone. I wonder, so I could probably move this here. Maybe I can cover those fingers, right? The little fingers weren't manicured quite. Not that they have to be, but, I think if you're going to use it in an image like this, probably a little bit more concerned with the fingers. So that this gives us a little bit of cover there. Well, that one over here, let's get it so we can get it a little bit. There we go. All right, I like that better. I like it. It's more wordy, but again, if our end goal is ultimately we use, I'm going to try to change the field here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we can change that, make that more of a 2. Or I can go all the way over. I can make that one full deal. And then just make that like a little pamphlet. And this might be bigger than what I would normally want to do overall, but for now, let's go with it. Let's see what we can get in the full field. Okay, so, all right, so now we're sort of using the whole image. We've got things, I think, positioned right. Well, obviously we'll get rid of probably the wine glass and the grapes, but for now, just for place markers and to show how things can go, let's see, how can we better orient this? Let's see. Maybe if I move this, I don't think we need 2 logos. Right, and if we do, I'm going to put over his nail. But I think this might go, well, let me leave this up here for now. This would balance out that glass at the bottom. Let's see if I put this more in the middle. I wonder if I got this there and this here. I think that at least has more balance for now, right? Again, we don't have to have the final product here. This is our first real test, and we're brainstorming. We are thinking about how we can take ideas like what Betsy presented, using a word that catches people's attention, and then a brief description about what we're presenting, right? Gets people thinking. So let's keep this for now, and what could we put here? Even if we end up everything. Would that look better here? Let me try that for now. For now, let me try this. That but not for everyone in that little field below the eye-catching one-word title, it just doesn't stand out enough. And it's not an editable, well, it's not a scalable field. I can see make it a lot bigger without really changing the main title a lot. Which I guess I could do a little, but rather I could just delete that. I could just delete that whole field right there. Okay, now that kind of opens it up, makes it a little more open. Let me get that more in the middle, though. It should be kind of right there, I think. Well, it depends on how it lines up. Let's put it there for now. Let's raise this up. As you're going to see, all this scaling we're doing, this repositioning, it makes a big difference, right? We can always add text. That's not hard to do, right? We've got translations. I've got text from Proverbs. We're going to do it in a minute. Let's just get the look in the fields the way we think we can use. Yeah, I'm seeing something I can use here. I'm not sure it's not the final product. I'm seeing something usable. Right? So if I just wanted, in fact, it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, you really wouldn't know what this involved. It's so open, but yet there is an attachment to what? Bountiful food. But the message has a duality, right? Everything that fits, ... but not for everyone. Okay, what's that? What's that part about, right? And it's like, okay, reach us. Reach us about what? Right? What is it I'm going to find out when I contact info@CWJah.org? Or when I go to www.cwjah.org. And again, I'm going to redo that site soon. Hello, Dada. We'll see if we can work with them. They may be getting hungry and things, but I think they'll be fine. They get they get used to it. Okay. So I think I like what I'm seeing as a working model here. We're going to save this. I think it's already been saved, but let me make sure. I should probably download. Well, I think it automatically saves. It's okay, Dada. All right, and then we've got everything else still up here. So we'll leave that as a template. Let me add a page here. We'll get to that in a moment. Because I want to look at the other page. This is the other page to the template we've been using. Hello, Dada. He might want some petting, but again, he'll have to wait. Right? Time and a place. Or maybe he wants crazy rabbits. That's my other name for a good girl. Her name is also Joji. We have lots of names for the cats. And she's hiding from him. That's what he's yelling for. Dada. So here's our inside. Oh, here's some nice grapes, right? I think we could probably get rid of that. This is kind of consistent. What could we add to this? All right, so again, we're using this as an example in a working template. And we've done, I think, some good initial work right here. Now, again, whether we used it, we know we're going to change the logos on each corner. I'm going to leave them there, though, for now. Because I like the way they're filling the space, at least for idea's sake. Maybe I can move this up a little. Let's fill that out a little bit bigger. That's a little better. I can get a little bigger. I still would like, what colors could I make that would stand out? See how that's kind of light there? I mean, it's embedded in an image. It's going to be tough. I'm going to need something either with a lot of color or, I mean, red would stand out, right? Look at what red would do. Or I guess it's too dark. And I wasn't going to use red, but I'm just using it as an example. We're back at that. I mean, I guess white is probably the best in this example because it's a dark background in that part. But could I move this up? So if I move this down a little bit, right, I get rid of I kind of like that. Let me move it up. Can I move that part? It's not really letting me move that image much. Again, I can't get it down unless I really change it like that. Well, if I did that, I can change the size, can't I? So that's better. I want to be able to see that, at least on this example. I can always scale down. Okay, that's better even with that background, right? Because we want to be able to see what we're talking about right now. Scaling down is a whole nother matter, but we're using a trifold actually, right? It's kind of a, but that's okay. As I said, we can always just push this down into a single page. However, this is allowing us to see things pretty clearly. So that's giving us some essential components, but we need a message, right? This is kind of a mixed message intro to catch your attention, and then we come down. All right, so when we come in here, let's, we can get rid of that. Oh, well. Do we want the wine glass? I don't think so right now. I can always bring it back. I'm going to change this, right, because we really haven't defined the suffering yet. We've hinted at it. And we're following Betsy's kind of example because, again, we're brainstorming to try to take an issue we can use to get people's attention and then present something that would help them understand it or deal with it better. Right? So what would be a term we could use for the problem or the issue? Right? We could just say problem, the issue, the message. We maybe we don't want to say message right here. We just want a message. So it's a message. We don't have to state as a message, but sometimes we have to make what we're talking about clear. For now, let's just put the problem. Okay, we know these grapes wouldn't represent the problem. I'm thinking they would represent something like more positive. Let's put them over here for now. So if we had a problem we wanted to present, do we want it to be a big problem? I guess it depends. We're going to try to change this a little. I'm going to try to go away from just the full background. Dada's back. I can hear him in the background. For now, let's do this. So, right, we need another image, like of suffering, right? But like hunger or something. Betsy, are you thinking hunger or are you thinking suffering from like disease? What kind of suffering, Betsy, are you thinking about? And in fact, to keep myself from suffering, I have some goji berries. I like goji berries. These are dried goji berries. They're very, I hope you don't mind, but they'll give me a little fuel. And looking at these grapes, it'll ease my suffering. Well, let's search. Hunger. If we're talking about hunger, or maybe poverty. Poverty's a real problem. Hunger's related to that, but poverty is kind of what's preceding it right now. Excuse me. Little goji berries are good. Again, we're kind of in a relaxed session mode, but trying to work together in ways that will help us promote our shared beliefs. One God the Father, Jah, Jesus the Messiah, Golden Rule. But we don't want to always have to say them like that explicitly to people we don't know or just met, right? Make it a little transparent. Right. Let's adjust the grapes transparency there. Kind of blend it in with the last part of hungry. Again, we're brainstorming, but I hope you see where we're going with this and how it can work effectively in ways where, with good ideas and information, we can promote good things. We can help people. We can give. This isn't about commercializing anything. This isn't for sale. No. See, and the good thing is, if I give you permission with what we create here, or if you're part of the group in ways where you can just order this yourself. You can order different levels of paper, different types of paper, different hardness or thicknesses of these types of things we're making. So you can get as many as you want, whenever you want them, and then use them wherever you think would be effective. So you'd have to pay Canva for shipping them to you and making them, but that's you. You're paying that. You're not paying me. We're working on it together for free, so we can help people. Right? And again, this is not our final product. We are coming up with ideas that would be helpful to people. Now, I was going to use over here instead of our winery. Right? We don't quite have that, but we could put our mission here. We could put different options for people here. Like we could do this. Just for now. I'm not so sure this would always be the best way to highlight information, but in terms of what we're doing, let's just see how it would look. We're going to get to Betsy's more specific concern of mental illness in a moment. But let's fill out this template and we'll move to another one. Right, we're dealing with the grapes and poverty and stuff. Right, so if I were, these are things we're going to keep and use and either further, right? We'll either make it better, we'll finalize it. Whatever we feel like we want to do, we're going to continue to put it together until it's either usable or we're getting information enough in ways that will allow us to make better things, better information. I like that a little better, right? Because see, now I'm hungry is in the center, right? Let me make this a little more transparent. I think I'm just using that, right? Yeah, that's better, right? Because it kind of still, it combines, like on the first one, right here, we sort of had this eye-catching phrase, everything, with the grapes that relates to, kind of everything you would want if you were hungry, but not for everyone, right? So we had that kind of mixed message to get their attention, right? Yes, everything, but not everyone. So what's going on here? What's the problem? Well, the problem, which we'll put right here, right? This is just text. We'll state it more specific. Maybe we'll put statistics of world hunger right here, or maybe from where you are, depending on where you are and the specific need, the specific poverty that you want to address with the tract. We can make multiple versions, some that would specifically relate to where you are. And then once we finalize it, you can order those. And then I or someone where I am will order the ones that are specific to my area. We can change the language. Right? We'd have to verify and make sure it's all accurate, but still, we can do a lot of these things. I think, so here, input, if I didn't know exactly what I wanted to put, I just put what I kind of want to put, statistics of world or local hunger, poverty, sickness, right? They all kind of go together. And related issues and data, right? So we could then deal with it further once we have the data. The specific information we would use to fill out that field, just like we would put right here, right? So we don't have to get into too much. We could put just Jah, the Father, according to, so this wouldn't be exactly how I would put it, but we'll just, for purposes of information and to fill out the fields a little, Jah the Father according to input text. And if I don't know what I want to put, sometimes I'll just capitalize it. So right here, right, Messiah. Maybe I'll just put cite, pre-Christian evidence, or text, right? Maybe this isn't going to be the tract. I'll present all the specific parallels and fulfillments, but maybe I'll cite some evidence and then texts. Right? Not everyone will need the same information. And then maybe here, I'll just quote the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And I could also maybe even reference a similar rule used by Confucius in ways that show that this is not just a limited cultural phenomenon or even just something Jesus stated, but it really is a principle and rule of life people can follow, and even non-Christians have promoted and followed, like Confucius, that show its utility and how effective it is in preventing hypocrisy if followed. Right? So see, these are some thoughts, but now maybe on a track like this, I wouldn't necessarily. Maybe if I'm giving a mission statement, maybe that's something I would put on a track like this a little bit off. But I want to make sure I keep it in there because I want to fill out the fields. I don't necessarily want to cover the boy's face either. So actually right now, maybe yeah, I think that looks okay because the boy's face isn't covered. The rest of the cardboard placard is filled out. Right, that looks better. I'm gonna see if I can get a little more centered, like right there. Right, so it's kind of centered with his chin. And then this text here, let me lengthen it instead of. See, we want to make sure we get it's got to kind of balance out. That's better. So do you see, again, this isn't our final product. This is a template. This is we're just working from scratch. We literally pulled out the first template on the trifold brochure, right? Remember? We pulled out this right here over on, oh well, my picture's in the way. Let me erase that. I guess I probably could move that. Let me try to move it. I think I just effectively moved myself away. But so if you look over here on the left above where you see my picture, this is what we were working with originally. Those two templates right here. And we took this one right here on the left and we changed it to this right here. We added this text, rearranged everything, elongated it. And then we took this one right here and made this right here. Man, look at that. We completely changed this template into this. And I think we did a good job, don't you? At least in terms of being able to generate ideas that allow us to use the information and the pictures and the template more effectively. I think one of my cats wants to jump down. We'll see. I'm going to clear out my... All right, my last little helping of goji berries. All right, we'll leave this here. We're going to leave these here just like they are, and we'll think about what else we can do. And this is just our first response to Betsy's suggestion about an eye-catching title, a brief message, getting into the suffering in the world. We're going to do mental illness next. But this is at least a good start, I would say, wouldn't you? To dealing with a poverty issue. We need to fill this out more, right? Maybe we won't have exactly these fields here, but it's consistent with who we are. We do want to promote these things. This is our main beliefs right there. And this is our mission, literally. But we have to deal with these issues. Right? So we've got a good working template, I believe, for dealing with poverty, and we should think more about this. Right? What can we put here? Right? We don't want to put a cozy winery by the seaside. Come have a drink. That wouldn't work right here. Right? So we want to help those in need. If that is you, here is what you can do. Cool, and then we'll just put input. All right, so maybe we can put resources, information, things people don't know about, but that are suffering from things that if they did know about wouldn't suffer as much. So we can put that right there. We want to help, right? We're not here to solve all the problems of people, but we do recognize there's things going on. Here's our mission. Here's things that can help you deal with this issue. Right? So I like what we at least generated in terms of a working model right here. Let's go to another one. Let's look at other templates. All right, I'm going to stay with, at least for now, we have other options. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. It had me in the... I was going to change the type of template, but I'll stay with the trifold for now because it's one I can modify. Let me see if I can move my picture around a little bit more now that I'm here. I'll put us up over here. But then I'm going to be looking the other way, right? So I'll go to the top. Right? And then that way at least I'll try to pick things that are a little below the first one. Right, so let's try to create a tract now that's going to deal with mental illness. How can we take texts in the Bible and use them maybe as part of a tract with images to help people with mental illness? mental ill issues. We'll make it very broad in application. Well, there's different tracts and things we could try to use, right? Here's one. It's got a lot of vibrant colors and things that could get people's attention and maybe allow us to highlight things in ways that would be useful in your area, right? So colors, different expressions of art, these are all things you're going to want to consider, especially when you're going to be presenting a mission message that relates to Jah, God, Jesus, right? We want to make sure we don't have to be perfect. Not every symbol or image we use is going to always be unattached to anything negative. We don't want to be hypercritical. Well, we're trying to do something positive here. So unless there's a real obvious problem or issue, that's what we should focus on, right? We don't want to get caught up in different things, right? So there's another example. What else do we have? Let's search, right? So mental illness. So here's some things that came up. Deep relaxation for the body and mind. It's like a spa. Let's see what else we got here. Another spa. These are templates that came up with the search for mental illness. All right, it's a strength conditioning template. What kind of mental illness, Betsy? What can we get more specific? Let me see. Let's try depression. I think she did actually say depression somewhere in there. Yeah. Meaning you're depressed and hopeless. Let's see. Oh, here's one. There's only a couple. Right, so it's someone lying on a couch here. What is it called? Looks kind of like a cinema thing, actually. What's this? Right, so this... So it didn't quite bring up what we were thinking thematically, right? Let's just type some sad. Oh, okay. So we get, right, we can use different images of people in different modes of expression, right? If we want to try to generate happiness or joy, or maybe we want to highlight some kind of flower or thing that would bring happiness. I saw some purple lilies the other day. See if we can bring that up. I think purple's a good color to use for some of this stuff. I don't quite see the purple lilies. I get that spelled right. I can't see the L's right there. What kind of flowers do we have? Oh, there we go. It's something similar anyway. Not quite the font is more of a kind of a flashy font that I would want for helping someone depressed, right? This is something for depressed, right? But it's a little too depressing. Funeral home. We don't want to we don't want to make them think too much about negative stuff, but let's see. Right, so we're getting a couple different ideas. I want to get a good image before I start changing text and things. Something to deal with depression. How we can maybe reach people's attention with biblical texts if they're facing difficult circumstances. Let's try winter. And so it's not, these are different kind of tracks that wouldn't quite, Let's see. Let's go back to photos. And we'll talk about family, finance. Yeah, no funeral, I know, huh? Family. Yeah. Let's see this. Okay, so we get different things we can use. So that's good joy. We like to see happiness, right? People together. Let's try to work with some of these images here. I like silhouettes and things, as you know from the open session thumbnails that I create. I kind of keep a silhouette theme going there. So that might work, but let's see. Why is this one still here? I want to get rid of that. Let's go to a different one here. So we get let's just work from scratch. So let's get a good family shot if we can. That would help with depression. Things that we can highlight in ways that would, be useful with the biblical text. And that's a positive image. I like that. Let's see what else we can get, right? So here's another silhouette. I'm just looking down here on the left at some of our options. Excuse me. Let's see. I think we can find something here. Oh, you like the silhouette? That's kind of a darker one here. Let's the one you liked. Which one? Let's see. That's one there. I think the one you liked was up here, though. This one? I think that's the one you liked, right? I want to make sure I don't want as much dark text because, well, then we'd have to use light font color, of course, right? So I guess we could. But when we're thinking of an image to use, we have to account for the color of the background so that it gives us what we're looking for in that way. I'm going to try to get it so we can fit it at least for I guess so. So for now, we'll highlight. Okay. So how could we? I like the child, with his hands out and stuff. Parents seem good. So where could we put information here? I guess is my only question. Right. I mean, it's almost like I need a little more dark background. How do I want to arrange this? Right? Maybe am I going to use the bottom? I like the image, but I need to be able to put the text where it's going to be seen. You know what I'm saying? So the more dark bottom part I have, the better. Does that give me enough? I kind of want him up a little higher. Maybe we need to go a little bigger. Okay, so how could we make a family tract about this? I'm starting to get ideas now. We're going to make it work, right? If it doesn't have to be our final product, and in fact, it won't be, right? We're just like we did up here. We're brainstorming. We're coming up with ideas, and I like the way it's going. I think we're doing a good job to get it moving forward. We can add the text, the scriptures, the information. All right, I want you to think about this for just a moment. I'm going to go check on Dada, and I'll be right back. I'm going to just give them a quick meal so they're satisfied, and then I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay. He was hungry. Yes. I'm just taking a look at your comments here. So, perhaps to the left of the image, besides the people to the right. To the left, huh? So, maybe if I can just get I want to keep, so if we use this again is we're brainstorming, we're using things, making the most out of them, generating new ideas, right? So I like silhouettes. Whether or not they're the best thing to use for a tract or a brochure, maybe. We're gonna try it. We're gonna do the best we can. So probably we would need black text. Looks like Mr. Chessmaster. I think you're correct. I think that's probably a good field right here. So, and again, we'll scale this down. I guess we'll leave it, we'll kind of go like that. But I want him more in the middle. I guess like that. So now what do we want? Here, can I add text? All right, I want to add text here. Where was my text field? Well, we need a template, right? So let's go to the templates now. We have a picture. Right, because I had I had erased the fields. I'm going to erase some of them now, but let's at least get that back. Here's a field. So let's use the font it kind of came with. At least it looks like it's a little dark, but I'm going to go ahead and we'll do our best. I'm going to delete some of these. I'll put one over here for now. And I'll leave a couple. Right, so we're going to we can add all that stuff later. I'm going to get rid of that stuff. We can add images like we did faded on this one up here. Right, more than one image to kind of connect different ideas. But for now, let's just keep it as a straight image creation. There we go. All right, so that's kind of where we were before. I want to keep it a little centered, and again, we'll scale this down, but just in terms of that keeps them in the middle, right? And it puts more of the tree in. Now the tree's really flowing across, and I like the background. I do like the dark background with this color here. I don't know about right here. Well, we're gonna explore this in a minute. This should be where we put like the main thing, right? The highlighted image. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. And then I can move this here, right? Because that'll go well there. Depending on what we're going to do with it. Oh, we'll leave it for now. And then something like this. Do I want to keep? Maybe. No, that's hidden by the tree. That's not going to work. We don't need it. Although, wait a minute. Maybe I do. See, I like the way that color looks against the dark part. So if I move this out of here for now, let's move this over here. There we go. So that at least provides some balance to this title. So this is what I would make the title. Whereas in many cases we would put the title like at the top. And certainly maybe over here. We'll change the color, but I kind of like this. Right, depending on how you made this image the title page, right? So obviously what I'm looking at, the way I'm seeing this, we have a trifold layout, but we're going to change it a little. I'm seeing, if you set aside this left part of the trifold over here, I'm not seeing that as part of the title or part of the front page. At least not right now. What I'm seeing as the front page are these two, the middle one and the one on the right. That to me looks like a cover, right? From the boy's hand and the father here, all the way over to the end, and then here down where it says Winter Lookbook. This is where the title goes. So let's put something else that would reflect that. Let's just put a brighter family. That's too much, right? So we need a kind of catchphrase title like we had with everything, but not for everyone. I like that. And I think that'll work on some level for us going forward. This first thing we did tonight, this has potential. We need to change a couple things, right? The images on the corners. But there's something to work with here and here, right? Now we've got to do a little more work, but there's something definitely developing with our first example tonight. And quite honestly, I like this one. I like the way it's going. I think it's giving us what we're looking for. Where'd that title go? Did that get deleted? Let me copy that then. And we'll put that here. I guess somehow I must have deleted that, but what do we want this to be? Or should it go right here? Right, if this is the title, if this is the whole page, these two, the middle and the far right, not this left, is the cover. I can make this longer. Right, the tree, maybe should I move this a little more this way? I guess so. Yeah, let's get a little more. That's going to be the cover. We need, that looks about right. What are we going to put here as the title? Yeah, I like it too. Right, so, okay, and let me actually move this out of our, this is what I'm talking about when I say this is the cover I'm looking at. There's something in the background here. I want to get rid of that. All right, we'll leave this over here. All right, so this would be like part of the inside. So what I'm looking at when I talk about tracts or brochures, the trifold it's a more complicated brochure, but it's also very simple and can be done. So you've got the outside cover, and it kind of folds out, and you have two sides, right? Or with a smaller tract like the one I showed earlier with the A Historian. We had it earlier. I'll show it in a moment. Right? It's just kind of a smaller two-sided kind of card. Almost like a big card. Bigger than a business card, of course. But not like a big brochure. It's smaller. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have a lot of text or data. So I'm seeing this as sort of in between. Like not a trifold. And a little bit bigger than the A Historian. I'm seeing this as the cover. And this is a working in other side. This would be part of the other side, at least as a working model, right? So it might be, we might keep it light like this to contrast with this cover that's really enriching, like Betsy wrote. And I like the silhouette now. And I like the tract. We need the right subject here. And I do like depression. I do like family. Those fit the mood of this image. Even though they're kind of contrasting, right? Depression because it's sort of evening, there's a darkness to it. But there's also a hopefulness. And then with family, of course, you have the kids and the child. And there's definitely... So what are they doing? They're looking forward to the light. Right? That fits who we are about, right? The light. And so we like the idea of light, of illumination, of seeing the truth, right? Not some thing that we can't relate to or identify, but that we can understand and recognize to the extent necessary. And so when it comes to families, right, so we're going to highlight families. What can we finish off with this one here? How can we make this a good, like we did with this one, right? And we could go longer, but I think if we can get two good working models for two different working subjects, right? Our first one basically having a range of dealing with issues of equity, fairness, right? Oppression, maybe, poverty. There's a lot we could work with here using this image of the hands full of grapes, and the associated problem with poverty, hunger, our mission. Right? We don't want to use this. We're not here to get donations. Right? We're not here to have people donate to us and give us money so we can then help we want them to help people. We want them to be more aware of the need to help people who are in need. So we're making these tracts and brochures to stimulate their thinking in our main three things: Jah, the Father, the one God, Jesus, the Messiah, and the Golden Rule. Right? The Bible, accurate history, all these things. But we want people to be thinking about what's important. We want better communities. We want people who take seriously what's happening in life. We're not trying to get them to feel bad or sorry or want to donate money to us because we've manipulated their emotions. No, I don't want that, and I don't approve of or sanction any use of that. Right? We're here to use this to get people to help people directly, or think about and praise Jah in ways, or follow the Golden Rule that ultimately again helps people directly, like Jesus did. Right? That's what we're talking about. You're right, Betsy. That's a good point. I didn't think about that at first. Right? I just pulled up the templates that they gave us. That was the winery one was the first template. But Betsy's pointing out how Jesus uses the vineyard and the vine in his illustration, so it actually is. It does work perfectly, doesn't it? We're going to work with this. There's potential on our first template here for sure. So this would be the front. Right? We'll scale it down, but basically the working template is this is the cover. This is what's going to get people to think about, us, or the site that has more information where they can actually find people like us. Right? I'm going to put there not people's information, but how they can join the forum or find out where people are in their area on the new site. Right? Or then at least turn the brochure over. Right? This is your cover. Hopefully this is enough to get you to turn it over. Right? Just that's what we're hoping for. You see this, you think, wow, well, what are they talking about? Oh, we have a problem locally. People are in need. Oh, they don't want money from me. They want me to go and help these people who need help directly? That sounds great. I was hoping I could find an opportunity. We hope they respond that way, right? That's what's really going to connect them. Right then, we direct them to how they can help with an issue in our community or society or world. They go and do it. And what? They associate our helping them think about how they can help other people directly, not by giving us money, with our mission. Promoting the one God, praising. That praises God right there, does it not? When people see others not wanting their resources in ways that would take advantage of them for their own gain, but rather direct their energy and resources to the people that need it most, right? That's what we really want. We're taking our time right now because we really believe this is what we're supposed to do. It's what makes a better world. It's what makes us better too. It's what Jesus did probably most often. It's how he revealed his glory according to John 2:11. Right? The first of his signs is when he began to reveal his glory to them, it says. And then he kept doing it. Kept healing people, kept doing things that would show that God's Spirit was with him. We want people to do that. When people help other people directly and they know they're doing it, right? It's not like a scam or what do these people want from me, right? It's like just straight up information. Boom. Here's how you can do this. This is what we try to do. You can assist. And then they do. It like develops in them, right? Just like Jesus said, that everlasting life that would bubble up and become a fountain of water that you would drink from and never get thirsty again, right? To fit with our illustration of the problem, the mission, the hunger. Right? It's both the physical and spiritual thing. And we can help with both. Right? And so now I like that. I like the way that flowed right into the new. So we have like two totally different designs, really, right? In our working templates. In addition to, these are we're kind of just using them as our prior references and the other A historian. Now this one here, this still could be a series. I like it in terms of, where it was going. Again, a simple catchphrase, right? So you'd be looking at, in this case, the cover is just this part on the left, a historian. That's all they would see. You'd put it down like on a table or somewhere. All they would see, they'd look down and someone would see a historian. They would turn it over and then see Christian witnesses of Jah. Oh, okay, what do they want me to know? Who are these people? Okay, Luke 1:4, first century. A lot of people tried to do this. Eyewitnesses. There's this guy Theophilus, someone excellent, and he's putting a detailed understanding together. Okay, I didn't know that about the Bible. There's more going on here. It's like a history type thing. A historian. And so that's, I think, still very usable. So what I'll do is I'll create this tract in the Canva fields that we've been using, and then we'll be able to modify this a little bit and create new ones with different colors, right? So this one's kind of got a light blue background. It's good for the black, and it's good for this image right here, kind of. But we can make other colors, right? Like a Rutherford rainbow, right? Only in the colors. I'm not talking. Rutherford's books have that multicolored appeal. They're kind of cool in that way. A lot of different colors you don't typically see together in a series of books. So, I'm not talking about the content and its accuracy at all times, but just the attraction, right? The way that we can get to people by a simple message, different ways of getting their attention, colors, images, information, a reference, right? A historian, a doubter. Right, Thomas. What is a doubter? A betrayer. What? Someone betraying me, right? Judas. That's something we could think about. A teacher, right? Jesus, right? Then we highlight a section from Jesus, something really impacting that he said that I've translated, right? So we don't have a copyright issue. So I'll go ahead and do that so we can keep this. I like this series. I think this can be its own little series of tracks. And we'll redo it and then we'll put it up. I think it's still available on my site. Yeah, in fact, I know it is because I'm looking at my topical index right now. So you could actually print this out right now. We're gonna put a new version up soon. It's probably a little bit clearer, more crisp to print. So I wouldn't necessarily print this one out unless you really just want to and have something to give to people. But I'm going to move it to Canva so it comes out much better. And then you can just print this yourself right from the site. I'll give you access if you're someone who's like me or Betsy. You're really serious about this stuff, right? You want to do it. You want to contribute. You want to get it right and then print it and use it. Well, that's how we can do it. And then I'll put finished products on the CWJah website and elsewhere so that people can also get it there. Download it and use it to the extent that they're able if they can't get into and print from Canva. All right, so that's a good one. I like it. A lot of things working there. In our track session 2, we'll come back to this one and add more. We'll replace these logos with something else. We'll add more text and information that will make it. We'll complete this. I think we'll be able to complete this in our next session, and then have, if we do, our first tract that we can scale down and make usable and print and share with other people, or email, right? It can be emailed or sent digitally or printed and just left for people to read on their own. Plant the seed. It will grow. It will. People read things, they see things, and it never leaves their mind, and then you find out later it changes their mind. And we want to do that in a good way, right? All right, so that's good. We're good to go there, I think, for session 2. But before we wrap up session 1, I want to get this one more prepared, right? So we could keep things like this Facebook. I'm going to put, just for now, CWJah. I'll get the specific Facebook page link for that. So if we want to keep Facebook, we've got the filling things out with what you have helps it. You get a better sense of it. So, I don't have an Instagram account I use right now. So, but we'll just leave that there for now, right? Maybe we will go ahead and do an Instagram page where we can put all these tracts on there and different things, right? We've got more images now, people using them, different people, and we'll make it so it's a better place if we choose to use Instagram. It's got some security issues though. So you should be careful if you're going to make an Instagram account or use one. You might be giving away some of your privacy and rights according to one of their recent notices. Either way, for now we'll leave it. And so we won't change too much of that. Let's change this text first. What do we want this cover to say? Well, either something related to family, depression, joy, right? Overcoming depression. Let's start with that, right? Remember, we are not finalizing this right now. It's going to take us a little time. We could probably have finalized if we had maybe started with the second one of these and done like maybe a teacher. Maybe next time we'll have the a historian in Canva by the next session. And then we'll have that. We'll make it clearer and better. And then we'll add the next one. The next session we'll focus on this series. We'll do that. And then the next one, a teacher, ... about Jesus. Something from the historical accounts involving Jesus, where you see now this information regarding Luke and him as a historian. So that should be pretty cool. Right? We'll do that. For now, let's put overcoming depression. Again, we can change this to anything we want that fits, but for now, so that we at least can put it in perspective with the images and we can see how it would scale down the right way. I think that looks good. It may not be perfectly centered. Let's see. Put that there. And we probably a little more there. That's closer, right? And maybe we don't want it perfectly centered because this tree, I want that tree to flow in the way it is more. It's got to fill up this upper right corner, you know what I'm saying? Right, so the more I go over to the left with it, you can see it filling in more. But then I come into that far left. But I don't think we're going to want. I'm kind of showing you how the scaling will work by moving this around, right? So the way I'm seeing it, it's going to be more like this. Right, we can make that part on the bottom a little more or less of a background for. Yeah, that's a little too much. Let's go up a little bit. That looks better. Right, so I can change that. But for now, I like the way the tree's leaning in. Right, it's filling in that upper right area really well. So I'm not going to worry about, as I said, the centering right now. I think overall it contains the components. If we were going to present a tract, if we had a lot of people we knew or an area heavily affected by depression, or we just wanted to help people, right? Maybe we'll put a bunch of resources that are for people to consider from accredited agencies that deal with suicide prevention and overcoming depression, things people should consider when they're battling depression, right? Not just things we're going to make up or think are good, but that are tested and reliable, right? That we can recommend with confidence. And then cite the Bible, right? So, you know, if we were going to use, for example, let's go back to the template, and we actually kind of customized, right? We customized this template right here. Now, what we could do for now, in any case, I was going to just extend this all the way over. And maybe I'll leave it like that for now. Because, again, we can scale this down so that it's not a big brochure. It's smaller. And this is like the whole side, one side. Let's get that up there more. Again, we'll deal with some more of that later. I'm not sure what we'll put here. If we need anything there to balance out the page. Maybe we won't if we just move that over, right? Because we kind of want that bottom part to be the real big area of you know, this is the subject. This is what we're talking about. This is what we want you to see and think about. Overcoming depression. We want it to be positive, right? Not just battling depression, although that has some positivity to it. You're fighting. Overcoming depression. That's what we want. We want a title that says, you're depressed. This will help you overcome depression. Right? We want to help, not just remind them they're depressed. We don't need that. We want to remind them they can overcome their depression. How? Consider these, you know, options depending on where you are with your depression, right? If you're at the point of suicide, please contact this number or this information, right? Stuff that's readily available that we can use in anything that talks about these subjects, but that people might forget about. And then, right, so there's the cover, our working cover. Then we'll go and this would be the inside page, right? So this is the cover. They turn it around. Well, we'll deal with this side here, right? We're not necessarily going to have that left side the way it is there, although we can use some of that. We won't have shop online, right? How about just help? We'll change shop to help for now. And I'll move the website up here because that's, I think, where the online should be. Let's fill up this field a little bit better. How's that look? That's a good working front page, right? It's got better spacing there. Maybe a little higher. We can add more here too, right? I can put, even though we don't necessarily want it, we could put the Great Message Twitter feed here, or the CWJah. I have a CWJah Twitter feed, but I don't really use it a lot, right? Because I'm trying with Twitter. But the Great Message feed is a good one. I'll be using that more for promoting the translation of the Great Message, right? It's kind of what it's about. But we'll leave this for now. Just, you know, we can put more information here though. So these fields they're not necessarily the only ones, but that's our working cover for our second track. Here's number 1, number 2. All right, so here's the inside part. We're going to finish up with this. We won't do it all, but you know, maybe we can get some texts, right? So here it's giving like these categories. Instead of broke, bespoke, in style and comfort, how about the Bible can help you live in comfort? All right, we'll use the comfort still. Again, this is just examples, things we're going to use to fill out the field. Repositioning things so we can get it right. Right, so overcoming depression, right? Maybe we'll leave this image for now because it's someone thinking, right? They're trying to figure out how to overcome depression. Maybe we'll change that though. But for now, let's focus on these down here. Right? So if I was going to change this, I would make these bolded headings like some kind of statement for response to depression. So prayer. I'm not sure if I would leave this here. Let's see. Maybe I would get rid of that. Make that a little bigger. Okay. Move it up a little. And then here I would put a scripture. Right, so let's see if we've got a prayer in my Proverbs translation I can find real quickly here. This is Proverbs. Okay, here's at least a proverb for prayer. I'm gonna try to use some of my proverbs more on some of these tracts and things because I think just proverbs in general is a really good thing for people to read and hear about. So this is Proverbs 15. There is another one. And that uses the divine name. Here, let's go with that one. Proverbs 15:29. We're going to make this bigger. We're going to make, we'll scale all this, we'll do as much as we can now, but we can always get it more. So it looks, that's why we're going to do multiple sessions, right? We'll make sure that the text is readable. All right, so here we have maybe I'll take this image of the woman out and I'll copy this. I kind of like this. And we'll move it over here, right? And we'll create kind of an ongoing field of text. So that I can have, right, 3 different fields. If it's going to have, depending on how much we want the inside to be, right? Maybe we just want to have it like we have it up here. Although we're keeping a full thing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and use all the fields for now. But we might eventually, like we were doing up here, scale this back, right? So if we did something like that, move this over here, then I would do the same thing here. I would just use these 2 sides, right? So 4 instead of the 3 we're going to use. We're going to do 3 right now, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. It's been really fun. I'm glad you guys joined me. This is what we're about, right? It's what we want to do. The other stuff's good. of course, but, when we can put things together as a group, work on them as a team, come up with ideas that help people without wanting their money, right? We all need money and stuff, but we're trying to help people here. Our goal is, look, we want you to praise Jah and live as best as you can. We'll try to create a little, it's got kind of a offset there, but maybe I can get it all up in. I'll kind of create two bubbles like that. So we'll come back and we'll deal with the position of that better, but that at least gives a little variance. So let's finish up tonight, though. And what I'm going to do to make this easy is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete these, right? Because I already made what I want to use over there. So I got to make sure I delete the right things, right? I'm going to just duplicate this. We'll move it over here. Probably do this too, right? Because we want to have, so we'll at least for now, keep it symmetrical, right? Maybe we won't need, maybe we'll move this prayer and text up here, but for now, we're working with the longer kind of trifold layout. We'll just add information here if we feel we need to. The Bible can help you live in comfort, right? Okay, prayer. We're going to change that here. So we'll put a text here. And then we're going to do it again here. All right, maybe we'll use this in the middle of the inside part. Put that over there. Right? That's looking pretty good. I agree with you, Betsy. We're doing good work here, I think, everyone. You can see it takes a little time, right? We have to be patient. We're going to keep this going. Maybe we'll do it every week. We'll do it pretty regularly, I'll tell you that, right? Because we're making progress. Ha! Look at this. We just came in and took 2 templates that we found. 2 of the first 3, I think. And we said, all right, let's work with this. Let's do the best we can and try to get it to a usable quality. I think we did that. A little more work here, but it's working. There's a good message here. We just need a little more that we can provide to people in the help category or reference category. What to do. And then here, I like this now that we've really filled it out, right? The background, the silhouette, sunlight off the clouds. I like the subject. I like the title. Overcoming depression, right? You're just reading that title makes you less depressed. And a person who is depressed, when they read that, overcoming depression, hey, good to see you, Paul. They're going to start to feel better about their depression. Just seeing that word, and that goes back to, again, what I was talking about. We're oversaturated, everyone. Are we not? With the movies, the music, the TV, the news, all the stuff, right? It's so negative and degrading. We're trying to combat that, right? We're like that light in that sea of darkness, like John 1 talks about. But the light is shining in the darkness, is it not? We are the light of the world as long as we continue to reflect the true light. Truth, information, how we can help people get through difficult times. All right, so we have here, so we kind of would need to change this. Let's come up with 3 different titles, 3 different texts and subjects, and then we'll wrap this up for tonight. We'll fill in this part later based on what we put here. So we got comfort. Here we'll put information about issues related to depression and how you can still be comforted while you're battling depression. That's what's going to go here. Here's a text, right? Help you battle it. Let's move. Well, try to keep it. I don't want to move it too much. We'll keep it alive a little bit more. And now, so we have prayer, the Bible. can inspire hope, right? We're overcoming depression. We need people thinking about things that will help them do that. The Bible can help you have comfort. Prayer. Pray to God, right? We need to be able to see. I guess I'm going above the image there. That one kind of a little blob thing. This beige image there. Or brown, light brown. Yahuwah is far removed from wicked people, but a prayer from righteous people he will hear. That's comforting, right? It's just an example, but we're going to leave it because it's kind of how we're dealing with this right now. All right, so hope. How can the Bible inspire hope? Faith or belief, right? Credible beliefs. I kind of want one word. Let's just stay with one word for now. We can always change it, right? Belief. Faith. Belief or faith. I like faith, but it sometimes means people don't think of it as having good reasons, right? Let's go back to my Hebrew translation of Proverbs. What can we find that has belief in it? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm hoping there. Right, hope. You inspire hope. How about faith? Yeah, we'll tie faith in with belief using the text. Okay, there's one. Let's see. Proverbs 13:15 says, insight that is goodwill. Good insight that is good will give an advantage, but a road chosen by those without faith will seem unending. Okay, we want with faith. We want something promoting faith. Proverbs 13:17. A wicked messenger will fall into something evil, but a faithful messenger brings a solution. That's closer to what we're looking for, right? And again, this doesn't have to be final. Let's just get it in there. Proverbs 13:17. All right, we'll change that. 13:17. Let's see how it looks. Oh, and I just realized, I like a little quotation mark there before Proverbs. So, all right, now I may need to expand the text here. So, let me go back to that actually. Okay, that's it. So let's get that there. All right, so there's number 2. The Bible can inspire hope. The Bible. Let's see. Let's try. Bible can comfort you. Let's try to keep this on 2 lines. Bible can comfort you. I like that. That's good. You can always change it. Again, this is our. We're going to just close up our working template number 2. The Bible can comfort you. And we could highlight like these different words differently. We could make it different colors. Like instead of that color, we could make comfort, well, just for example, blue. Right? And we could make hope. You could do the same thing just to make it stand out, right, from the rest of the text. The Bible is, how about accurate or reliable? But we won't be able to cite a text. We have to cite references for that, wouldn't we? And which we could. But for now, let's just keep it with text. And okay, so hope, we've got that. Here we'll put a brief discussion message about hope leading to the text cited below. And how hope is really best predicated on belief, right? You believe things and then you hope in those things because you have reasons to believe in them. So we want belief to be associated with hope so people can hope in them. You want hope green? Okay, we'll vary it for now. Again, we can always come back. Right? And so it maybe green is the right way. Certainly we make a difference. And then the Bible is reliable. The Bible is true. I mean, we don't want to be assuming for people, but the Bible is from Kings. How would that look? We're quoting Proverbs is what I'm finding. The Bible Bible's royal wisdom. Let's just for now, let's see. How would red look, Betsy? All right, so at least we've got three things, right? Comfort, hope, royal wisdom. Should we make this a little darker blue? That red, and the green, that's better, I think. Only because, and we can make the brown darker too, right? So this is the Bible's royal wisdom. Right, we're quoting Proverbs. King's advice. Let's see what kind of kingly advice we can give people to overcome depression, right? That's what we're doing. We're trying to do. That's the goal of template number 2. King's advice. We could bring in the divine name here, right? We could do fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. Yahuwah has arranged the earth with wisdom. But more kingly advice. So let's search king, I guess, right? Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. So we could talk about it here, and then, but what do we want to cite for our text? We'll fill in the in-between parts next time when we finish it, right? Next time, I'm hoping we can not only introduce the other series of tracts, A Historian, do part 2, A Teacher about Jesus, like we did with Luke, but finish these two, or at least one of them, hopefully, right? And like have it ready to go. And print ready. You can print it, start hanging it out, sending it by email, whatever you want. Let's see. Okay, it's bringing up like everything with king in it. So let's, including like walking and stuff. I could limit it, but let's just see. I can identify king. Something that would help people overcome depression. I saw goodwill and love. Let's see. Lips of righteousness means goodwill from kings, and the one speaking honest things a king will love. That's nice. That might fit. We want them thinking positive. We want them being good people, right? Not depressed and negative or not being honest. Maybe we can find one more thing, though. Well, let's see. So how about royal? How about the Bible's, how about loving? Let's do loving. Loving, also red with the heart, blood. Plus loving, royal, right? We're overcoming depression. We want them to feel love, right? They've got comfort. They've got hope. But the greatest of these is what? Love. But we're using Proverbs, right? So loving wisdom. Perfect. This is what I'm talking about, the brainstorming, right? 2 or 3. Where is he? I'm telling you, we're doing good work here. It's all based on the text, right? We're not trying to add or take advantage of people. So if he's with us, then I think it's for good reason. Loving wisdom. Well, we're going to find, let's see, love. We're going to wrap it up right after we fill this out, but we're not going to stop. We need a text, right? We have to set a goal, reach that goal, set the next goal, reach that one, come out on top. We want a good text. We know about, of course, Jehovah correcting those he loves. Let's see here. Let's get one that works good here. Let's not just reach one and choose it till we can finish off, right? Let's get a good one. One's going to help people overcome depression. You should not love sleep. Okay, well, you don't want to be lazy. I like this proverb. It's not maybe necessarily the best one for us to use in this way, but it fits. And I like it. There's a couple here, right? They're highlighted in yellow, but look at Proverbs 27:5. Open discipline, right? Openly correcting someone. Like I did recently with the homosexuals, right? And the practice that they have that we accept, right? It's legal and we don't discriminate, but it's abusive, right? And if they don't want to hear it, that's fine. But if you're trying to tell me it's not or equivalent to non-abusive sexual relations, then again, no, it's not. So I'd have to correct them, right? As difficult as it might be, and even if it cost me stuff like it has, open discipline is better than hidden love. Well, you don't love someone if you're helping them abuse themselves and you're not correcting them when it might be appropriate, right? You're hiding your love. It's just an example. So I kind of like that. Open discipline is better than hidden love. Well, it might not work. Wounds from one showing love are to be trusted when kisses from the one who hates continues in abundance. I like that too, right? It's a little long, right? But it's better to get wounds from a person who's showing you love, again, similar to open discipline, than to get a bunch of kisses from one who hates you while they're doing it, right? Like Judas Iscariot. So it's not always what you think. When someone's trying to correct you, right, they're actually showing you love. When they're hiding their love, they're actually not showing you love. All right. And so Betsy's talking about physical fitness, spiritual growth, loving wisdom. How about mind? Or heart? Let's look for heart, right? There are lots of hearts. Let's see. I'm going to wrap it up on this one. Trust in Jehovah with all your heart and do not rely on what you think you know. Of course, we want to think we know based on the best available reasons, which helps us trust in Jehovah, but that might be a little too heavy for people trying to overcome depression, right? There's a lot of hearts here, so let's see. I think we've got one. Anxiety in the heart of a man causes depression. I should have searched for depression, huh? But a good word makes him rejoice. All right, we're going to use that. I'm going to search for depression also, but this is my text too. That's what I used. Anxiety in the heart of a man causes depression. That's true. And that could be what they're dealing with, right? Helping them overcome it. Loving wisdom. But a good word makes him rejoice. And that's what we're trying to do, right? Give a good word. Proverbs 12:25. Let's go ahead and add that right now. We got that little quotation there. All right, and then we'll line it up. That's good. And we'll take a good look at our work tonight. We did good work, everyone. Thank you for joining me, being a part of what we're doing. This is going to pay off. This is going to help people overcome depression, deal with issues, become stronger in their faith, not feel they're being taken advantage of, become closer to God, Jah, Messiah, wisdom, living better by treating others better, by reading this wisdom. So we're doing good work, everyone. You should be thankful. Give Jah praise, all of us. I can move this out. Okay, that's good. Now we got these three. Okay, good. So we kind of got a three little blob design there, but it works. Right, and maybe I can move one over here and this one up here, but we're getting creative. I like it. I like what we're doing here. It's really good. Right, let's change the site, right? We're not really great site. We're CWJah. We're the best. We're the Jah site. We're the One God site. We're going to help you worship God right site. I don't know why it didn't get centered there. All right, well, I'm going to leave that for now. I don't want to deal with the centering of the text and that make it seem off. So let's look at our work. It's very important that we appreciate what we've done. Not bad, everyone. Not bad at all. Right, we're going to fill out these next. This is going to be in session 2. We're going to come up with something to put here under the Bible can comfort you in association with this prayer text. The Bible can inspire hope. Put something here in relation to this text. The Bible's loving wisdom. Put something here in relation to this text, overcoming depression. Right, this is our front page. We'll either keep it with this and add stuff here that fits, or we'll move this over. And redo it a little bit, okay? For now, let's just leave it that way until we come back in part 2. This was our second one. That looks great. I almost want to do session 2 tomorrow, right? But we'll get to it soon enough. But we started out with this one. We did a good job there too, right? We can maybe do a little bit better here with the blending. Highlight some of these things. I think I can move that. Maybe move the kid a little more, right? Get that H. Now the H in hunger's not quite covered by the blur of the image, and the girl is enough to blur with the grapes. And now the words are now on their own. We'll move this a little more over. So hungry. We could put them covering it, right? Golden rule. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. We'll leave it like that for now. Right? And we'll fill this out. but it's, I think, correct to have something there to fill out that lower right corner purple field, dark colored field. And, right, so we got the kid, we got the girl. We're going to move this over here. Right, so we don't want it interfering with her face so much. She's not the problem, right? But she's in a difficult spot, and so I think that's a little bit better lineup. We'll keep working on a little, maybe actually putting that H there is an okay thing. Maybe that does fill it out a little bit. Maybe putting her eyes a little bit above it. So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll keep working with that. We're close, though. I like it. It's got the elements we need to finesse a little bit more and to put the right info in, and then we're good. I like the grapes, right? The whole vineyard. Like Betsy was referencing Jesus' teaching. The colors work. We get a little contrast with the kid here in the yellow and red. So it's not all dark, kind of purple and blue. And then our cover image, right? Where we started after we reviewed, our prior images. Things we've done before. And that we'll do more. Right? But just starting out together, I think we took the initial template that we were given, and we did good work. We did good work that gave us something we can use as a cover image that captures people's attention, right? This big handful of juicy grapes that look delicious. And then that title, everything, right? And then all of a sudden, but not for everyone. I really like that. I like it not because it's not for everyone, but because it captures the issue, right? And gets them into it more. In addition to the positive feelings they already had, now it's like, well, wait a minute. Why can't this keep going? Why can't we have everything in this beautiful, delicious grape way? Well, you can reach us for more, or just turn it over and you can see our mission statement, more about the problem, right? We're going to input statistics and information here. And where people can go to actually help in addition to coming to our site, right? More so on this one, especially with the depression. But we can put other stuff here, good resources where legitimate outlets are providing help to people who are in need. So outstanding work, everyone. I really thank you for your time and involvement with this evening's creation of CWJah tracts that we can use to help people in tough conditions, to overcome depression, and ultimately, as you know, to praise Jah with all of this information, to glorify Him, not to take money from people, not to make life harder on them. Right? We all need money at times, but we don't need to make money off of these things. We can just present them according to the way we have available to us in print or digitally, or just by speaking the information. Whatever we can do to promote belief in the God Jah, who made all of us to do what we do, to hold us accountable, but because we've fallen away from the condition in which He made us to make good choices, to do good things, we have to have faith in the provision He made, the Messiah, the one He sent forth. And we want to promote Him and His ways too. Primarily the golden rule, which He taught us to live, and which He lived better than anyone. So in imitation of Him, I ask that we all try to do our best to think about ways that we can present evidence and information that will help people in these ways, promote our faith, our three things, the reasons for belief, and work with whoever we can to help them with their issues, since we all have to live in the same world together as we go through this time of judgment. So to that end, I'll bid you good night, at least in terms of where I am. I'll see you again soon, either for a text reading, another CWJah Talk show. I do have a garbage dump premiere that'll be coming soon on Boss Baby. Whoa. But I'm more interested in these tracts and ways in which we can help people react in the right ways, the right reasons, and promote the right faith based on belief in Jah, Jesus, and the Golden Rule. So we'll continue doing these things. I look forward to our track session number 2. Thank you again. I'll see you again all very soon.